Every day, season 2 is here now. Let's pop over to the White Tower. Novice lessons are gonna come our way. Hey, hey. Welcome to Koala Sadai's scene-by-scene breakdown of episode 1 of season 2 of The Wheel of Time. I am really excited once again about this new scene. I know that it sounds like I'm just always excited about all of it, but honestly, doing these breakdowns allows me to really sit down, research what was in the book, things written in the companion, go to some of the great resources that we've got online by fans like Tarvalon.net, the wiki. I just Google stuff and read to really get the background information out of the books and see how well a scene hits the beats of the books. We know as book readers that each one of the scenes is on the surface of it really different to what's in the books. But are they really different, or are they using a new medium to give us the important information we need? Well, let's see what I can dig out of this particular scene. We open this scene with Egwene clearing plates from rooms in the tower. The first thing I notice is that while novices still wear white in the show, it makes sense to me that the aprons have some colour to them because they take the brunt of any staining. At first, I wondered why there would be any dishes in Siuan's room since she's away, but then I realised that this is her formal study, not her bedroom, and while she's away, Lyanna is still working from in there. So, Egwene is cleaning up after Lyanna. And we get this beautiful scene where we see clearly Siuan's desk. We see a number of items on there, big thick books, and amongst all of that is a box. Now this will be Siuan's warded box, and I'm now really hopeful that we will see it opened by Elaida one day and it'll burst into flames and turn to ash. Egwene turns to look at the formal dress of the Amyrlin with the striped stole. It's all done by facial acting, but we know that she wants to learn everything, be the best, and has already been told that it's possible she could rise to this position. That lovely little Mona Lisa smile, it just says it all. Lyanna treats her as we expect novices to be treated, as the lowest level in the tower. In the books, when Egwene and Nynaeve arrive in Tarvalon by boat, no one even tells them what's going on, gets them off the ship, gives them any information. They're just left there trying to figure out what they're supposed to do. They were constantly treated like the youngest of children, not just Egwene and Nynaeve, but all the novices, as though they wouldn't even understand if things were explained to them by most of the sisters. When Lyanna walks past and just tosses a cup in the bag without even meeting Egwene's eye, this is conveyed to us so clearly. Even the way Alanna is romping during the day, without considering any novice coming or going from the room, is a part of this. I didn't feel that this was intentional, just simply that Aes Sedai attitude of nothing else matters or really exists. The look on Egwene's face is priceless and demonstrates her character perfectly. I like the way they've matured the Emonsfield Five up, but they are still quite naive country kids at the same time. On her way down to the kitchen, we see warders training with swords, and they're being watched by novices. And I felt this was a really nice little nod to us, especially the way Egwene walks pointedly past the other novices as though she's taking no notice, and then stops around the next column to have a little peek of her own. She makes sure she doesn't stop and peek for too long though. In the kitchen, we see that there are people who work for the tower as well as the novices. Is that Lara behind Egwene as she grins at Nynaeve? I love how Egwene is beaming, even though she's working hard and had just been so shocked by Alanna. She doesn't run to tattle and she doesn't complain. We get some great information here about the White Tower hierarchy and what Nynaeve thinks of her place in it. Then Alanna arrives to give the novices a lesson in the middle of their chores. Or is that Lara cooking maybe? I liked the idea that an Aes Sedai could just turn up anywhere, anytime, and impose a lesson opportunity. In the books, chores and lessons were quite separate, but there was something for me in seeing the water cleaned, rather than a room full of novices trying to imagine flower buds and balls of lights. Usually, the cooks are in charge of the novices when in the kitchen, but we have plenty of references to Aes Sedai coming in and out of the kitchen, even the Amyrlin. We get an unnamed novice number 1 who answers the question on the weaves. Then Alanna demonstrates separating the garbage from the glass of dirty water. Interestingly, she uses weaves of earth and water for the demonstration. Look, it may mean nothing, but we know that Egwene is going to prove unusually strong with earth, although she manages nothing in this lesson. Egwene is deliberately attempting the lesson without using hand gestures at all. No one else understands what she witnessed and went through with Valda. What she obviously learned is that an Aes Sedai must be able to do everything without relying on their hands, as this is a weakness that can be manipulated. Novices are expected to behave in certain ways. They're not supposed to speak unless spoken to. Egwene has obviously not told anyone about how Valda treated her. Even though she didn't see the yellow burned without hands, I think she's smart enough to have some idea of what happened to other women in that chair. It would appear that earth shows as green when we see weaves and water as blue. We receive confirmation that Nynaeve is blocked, and only when in extreme fear or rage can she channel, without little understanding or control. But they don't mention with awesome results nonetheless. Nynaeve reinforces her amazing strength of character on the one hand, and her incredible fear of being seen to be unable to do something on the other hand. She refuses to truly try in a public group and drinks the glass dirty rather than risk failing in front of all of them. Nynaeve doesn't suffer fools gladly, and so conversely, she hates appearing what she would consider a fool. She therefore uses a good measure of self-delusion. So, instead of risking failing publicly, she will state that she doesn't want to do it their way and just drinks the water. She feels so responsible for everyone that she finds it very hard to be seen as incapable. I'll talk more about that when she trains with the warders. I was shrieking with laughter at the way Alanna whispers, "Picture the bud of a flower. It's pink." As though that would soothe our Nynaeve. Alanna reinforces how strong they both are. Nynaeve says no one should be able to wield that amount of power. She witnessed a lot during the circle that they formed at Fal Dara. I mean, she witnessed 3 women burn out and die, and she very nearly died herself. I think that this makes a relatable reason for her to be hesitant to attempt to use the One Power. It isn't just that she fears being burned out, it's a recognition of just what could be done with such power. We know that this battle gave foreshadowing of what's going to happen at Dumai's Wells with the Asherman fighting under Taim. We may see some similar huge powers as well if we get Calendar. If you think about where Nynaeve was just 1 year prior, she was wisdom, a position of high authority and leadership in her village. She healed with herbs and was good at it. Okay, not knowing that sometimes she healed with the aid of the One Power, but she had no knowledge of the power, especially not in regards to warfare. I think that for us, we have all the foreshadowing of the huge things we know need to come. While for new watchers, we have an understanding that a power that can wipe out hundreds or thousands in moments is terrifying. You see Egwene start to puff out and then deflate again when Alanna says Nynaeve is 10 times stronger than her. This was always a huge difference between the two. Egwene wants the power and wants to take it as far as she can, not because she is a control freak or she's power hungry, but she genuinely wants to be up there and do something good and worthwhile. Nynaeve has always felt that she has to be in control. Not because she wants to manipulate people, but because she battles so much fear and self-doubt. I can identify with a lot of things about Nynaeve. There's a long history behind this behaviour, and it causes her to act very defensively when it isn't needed. Having these Aes Sedai know of her block only reinforces her own self-doubt, and her response is to become prickly and unreasonable. In this situation, it was perfectly reasonable to her that she simply drink the dirty water rather than let go, trust, and work things through with Alanna. I'll talk about this more again when we see her come back later to practice alone. So this is a shorter breakdown than what some of the other ones have been. Even though there was actually a lot here, I felt that this particular scene was really quite clear, and most book readers should have absolutely no problem with any of it. We got to see a lot about where novices sit in the tower. We got to see the types of chores they do, and we got to see how lessons are conducted within the tower and what kind of things they are learning at this low level of just doing some seemingly simple things with the power. At the same time, we got some really good nailing of the characters of both Nynaeve and of Egwene, and I think we built on a little bit of the foreshadowing of other things that are going to come. So I hope you enjoyed this shorter breakdown. I'm going to try and keep pumping out at least one a week, 2 if I can, because between 8 episodes of season 2, there are going to be a lot of scenes to break down. Please do take a moment to leave a comment below. Tell me any thoughts that you have, anything you disagree with, anything you think that I missed, because if you ever come up with something big that I missed, I'd love to talk to you about it, and I will be very happy to actually make another addendum episode to pick up on anything further. In the meantime, I hope that you're enjoying The Wheel of Time adapted for television as much as I am. See you soon.